If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. We already made it to Texas. Yay! Well, not actually. This is kind of devastating to our plans. But we're kind of in a nice little county park. Really am enjoying it here. The point of the video is how difficult it is to plan out your nomadic adventure. There are others that will just ride the wave and go wherever it takes them, and whatever the circumstances are, they deal with. But for me, it's really important to have a plan. And the reason I think it's important for me to have a plan is because if I don't have a plan, I'm going to end up being somewhere where I don't want to be when I don't want to be there. For example, if I were to leave right now and head due north, it would still be pretty cold. So, we came out of Florida with this intent of slowly making our way to the North Rim, Arizona. Well, we can't even go to the North Rim, Grand Canyon, until May 15th. It's closed. So my plan was to leave Florida, go into Mississippi for 2 weeks, then head into Texas. I don't know, I had myself staying in Texas for like 5 weeks. Then going through New Mexico, I think there was a stop there I had. And then into Arizona, there was another stop. And then by, I don't know, mid-July or so, we would be at the Grand Canyon, North Rim. And my plan was to stay there 2 to 4 weeks. There's 2 different campgrounds that I like to check out. And then come back out of Arizona. And by late October, early November, be back in Texas for our wintertime adventure. We got into Mississippi, and sure enough, just like every other year, our plans have just crashed around us. So our plan was to get into Mississippi, stay there 2 weeks. Well, we got there on Tuesday, and by Thursday, the National Forest was kicking us out. Not just out of the campground, out of the forest. They were worried about bad weather. When they came out, they said, yeah, we got some bad storms coming in the area, which Mississippi, as we now know, was hit very hard. And I actually have a video about us being in Mississippi during the tornado. He comes in and says, yeah, we're going to have to kick everybody out. And I said, well, can I go down to the horse camp? And he said, no, we're closing that down too. He says, we're closing the whole forest down. And he says, as a matter of fact, they're sending us home at 11 o'clock. Well, it's 9 o'clock now. And he says, so you need to be out here by 11 so I can get the gates shut. So now we're in Texas, 2 weeks early. Well, this is going to throw off our plans. This is going to get us into, Texas, into Arizona in June. And we don't want to be in Arizona in June because June time temperatures are too cold. The reason I tell you is, it's not because I'm complaining, because a lot of people think that's all you do is complain. No, I'm here to tell you this is the reality of the lifestyle. And the reality is, when you plan out your adventure, you're not going to be able to keep to it very well. We're going into our 3rd summer now of our nomadic lifestyle. And for the 3rd time, our plans have been dramatically altered. And I'm going to run through some of these. Our first summer, we went to Mississippi, and then we went into Tennessee to a little campground called Ray Springs. We were in Ray Springs for a day, just like in Mississippi. Park service, it was a city park. He comes around and he says, we're going to have to close this campground down again and get it all cleaned up. What had happened, and it was quite obvious what had happened, was, people were taking up residence and they couldn't get him out of there. So here we are 2 weeks early. And this is like in May. So our only option was to head into Kentucky. I'm telling you, it was just downright cold. We were in Daniel Boone National Forest in Great Meadows Campground. And it's way down in this valley. Well, then that pushed us up into Virginia early, into the Smoky Mountains early. So the whole time we were just freezing cold. And here's the critical part. It got us into Florida too early. And at the time, I didn't really think about it. Now I'm more aware of it. But we got into Florida in October. Well, October, you're still in hurricane season. And then the second time was in South Dakota. In South Dakota, we went to the grasslands, and they had the gate, a cattle gate, says, please keep gate closed. It's my understanding the reason they put cattle there is because the grasslands is accustomed to having a lot of animals eating the grass. You know, back in the day, it was buffalo. Well, now the buffalo are smaller in numbers. They bring these cattle in to eat the grass. Well, the second benefit to this is the farmer pays the National Forest to use the grassland. So National Forest is making money, and the grasslands are being taken care of by the cattle. It's a win-win for both parties. Now the National Forest is responsible to keep those cattle inside the gates. People would come in, they go camping there, and they'd leave the gate open and the cows would come out. Well, the ranger came out and warned us the first time, said, went around the whole park, said, you guys are gonna have to shut the gate. He says, I can't go and chase cattle every day. Well, 2 days later, he comes back out again. He's all sweaty and dirty, and he says, I've been out on the road again chasing cattle. He says, so I'm gonna shut it down. I need you out of here first thing in the morning. Your plan is always regulated by the authorities. It's taken me almost 6 days, working 4 hours a day, to plan out this schedule, only to have it all goofed up right here on the first 2 days of the summertime adventure. Fortunately, Texas has a lot of good camping spots. So this is not going to be a huge issue this year, I don't think, because I've already found another campground to replace this. As much time as you spend researching to find campgrounds, try to follow the weather, try to figure out the safety of the area, trying to figure out cell phone service, trying to figure out if there's water, trying to figure out if there's grocery stores nearby. These are all the things you got to find out before you go to a location. And to have one goofed up 2 days into the adventure, it really screws all that planning up. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.